created my own little algorithms to do one thing or another, like disease states, a mortality algorithm. And
I think you will have a whole levels of robotics, that humanoid robots or non-humanoid robots, whatever the case is.
But the one that I really gravitated towards was Alteryx. Low code, no code, business intelligence stuff, data science, machine learning, things like that.
Audio, or text, and then there's big metaverse buzz. Everybody knows the metaverse.
Another week of AI.
All right. Hyped now. Ay.
Could you guys hear that?
Yeah, no, say it again.
Your mic was live. You had a hot mic.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of verbal coffee late in the day, kind of wake you up a little bit.
Yeah. Jolt.
Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. So great to be here. Yeah, really looking forward to this conversation. That was the first time I've, I think, heard the intro because I've seen it before, with Asif and on the LinkedIn account and everything. But the adds the flavor to it, Lucky.
Any language I think I've came across or asked people about, they have a variation of I somewhere. Mm-hmm. In my language that I was born into, I means I screwed up, right? Mm-hmm. When Lucky does it, it's more like I am just damn near drunk and happy, right?
I'm celebrating something.
Right. Celebrate life. Celebrating life.
And when Mosako does it, you better run.
It's like I'm on the top of a mountain and I'm giving a call, right?
Yeah,
like,
I'm coming for you.
There you go.
Oh, man. So, Jason, welcome. This is how we start the show, and we end the show almost on the same note. Either, after 2 hours of talking about AI, do we feel positive? Do we feel drained by the AI or overburdened by the responsibility of AI? So, we capture our emotions through AI. So, welcome to our podcast. Welcome to our conversations. We do this podcast framed based on people's learning of AI. As in, if you're learning AI, are you looking to find a job in AI? Are you learning about AI so you can have a new business, new startup? Or are you learning AI just to keep your kids safe, right? So we have this conversation a lot. So military veterans is one of the first target because we have military background. So we asked that when the military veterans are listening, they start considering AI as part of their career, not necessarily AI as a job, but to use AI in their career path. So today's discussion is about military veterans and project management, right? Project managers, folks that are in military, they love to become project manager once they leave the organization because they want to take that leadership role and they want to be able to lead a team and deliver on a project. So who's better than to talk about these sort of topics than Jason, right? To shine some lights into how are we using AI to do project management, right? So let's jump into it. But first, Jason, give us a rundown of your background. If you do a poor job of it, or you're trying to cover something up to be humble, I'm going to call you out and I'm going to do it for you.
I appreciate that, Asif. Yeah. So, it's been a crazy journey, but just to maybe keep it a little bit brief, I've had the opportunity to be in the tech space for, over 13, 14 years now at this point. But we were actually talking, before we started the show here, I was actually planning on going into medicine. I come from a very strong medical family. I actually have 9 other siblings, so there's 10 of us, so big family. I grew up in Northwest Ohio, but my dad's a dentist. So I grew up, it's actually, I think, 4th generation dental practice. So I was going to go the family business. I was going to go become a dentist or become a doctor. So I went that route. I got accepted into dental school and medical school. I did biology, chemistry. But this whole time I had this desire to always want to start my business or, do something in technology. And I thought I could do that as a physician. I was going to learn, how to program and actually use some of these tech platforms and tools in the work that I was doing for serving patients. But I got accepted, and rather than being like excited, I actually felt really depressed. And I was like, what's going on? I need to figure out what to do. So I actually had a mentor I befriended. It was a guest speaker actually coming into our university where I was doing my undergrad program, my bachelor's. And she was a founder of a nonprofit think tank actually in Washington, D.C. And she's like, what projects are you working on? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, long story short, that conversation turned into a 4-hour conversation. I met her and her husband. We ended up having dinner together. And she said, would you be interested in actually being a researcher for our think tank in DC, still in college and everything. And it opened up this massive opportunity to start to serve nonprofits. And really my role was to what social issues, were they doing research on? How can we take that research and make it into a website, make it interactive? Their board and their marketing team can go and share it around. So I ended up teaching myself some web development skills, website development. And then I'm like, wow, I love coding. I love being able to build something from scratch. So I ended up going through online boot camps, teaching myself how to program. And then I started out working in enterprise companies as a junior software engineer, eventually got to more mid-level. And then thankfully, a lot of the managers at the companies were like, wow, you're this weird kind of combo, Jason. You can talk to people and do the coding. Would you want to be a manager? So I ended up, starting to get into management and lead, these engineering teams. And then eventually I got into, starting my own company. So I've had the really amazing opportunity to work with some crazy thought leaders, really crazy in a good way, like the John Maxwell Company, the Zig Ziglar Company. So for those of you in the military, side of things, huge, motivational leadership, side of things. So I learned so much, having the opportunity to work with them, but also like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, helping to manage his personal brand and ghostwrite some of his content and books. And then, getting more into the SEO space and the blockchain and crypto space. I've helped scale like some of the most successful NFT and crypto projects on like the Flow blockchain. And then, I got into AI actually in 2016, 2017. My role was to work with some of these engineers at Google and Meta, Facebook at the time, to break down some of their amazing research that they were doing. And at the time, it was, generative pre-trained transformers, those GPTs that so many of us know today, with what became ChatGPT as the main kind of thing that most people know about. But I would take a lot of that research and break it down in blog and video content and make it easy to understand. And then eventually it got into testing and being a beta tester for some of these AI tools. And then my company, we were building a lot of Gen AI and some simple kind of traditional AI and machine learning projects as well. And then, I actually ended up connecting with a friend of mine or through a friend of mine at Cisco Systems. He's like, you need to talk to this OnStack company because they're looking for someone to break down AI and teach it internally to their team. Well, I got to meet OnStack. I got to meet, some of their leadership also at Cisco. And they're like, you have a week and a half to create all this content for an 8-hour workshop. Do you want to do it? And I'm like, I'll give it a shot. Ended up becoming really successful, internally with their team. Asif and I actually collaborate on that too. He's seen, some of the content there, but I love teaching people and breaking down, some of these complicated things. And then it turned into, other opportunities to do that for other nonprofit organizations. There's a really awesome healthcare nonprofit that we're working on right now to build like an amazing, AI chatbot for like even mental health applications. Mm-hmm. So I love seeing technology, being used for good. And me personally, that's a big thing, and everything that I want to do is I want to try to use these as tools, even ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, some of those other tools that are available. There's a right way to use them and there's a wrong way to use them, So let's use them the right way and use it to help other people. So how did I do, Asif? Anything I missed out?
Oh, no, I think Masako can testify to that. Masako, did he miss anything from going live?
No, you know what? You very thorough, Jason. I'm pleased. Look, you're no stranger to the camera. That's for sure.
Behind the camera and on the camera, yeah.
Either way, you're no stranger to the camera, and I love that, because for me, that tells me that you're authentic and you believe in who you are and what you're doing, and that's huge in this day and age, in this climate that we live in, right? To really live life on purpose, and in living life on purpose, we give others that are watching us permission to be great on purpose. And I always say, for people that don't have the capacity, that maybe didn't have a mentor, or they weren't raised in a household where they knew that they could become something greater than the space that they were in, that when they see us, we're giving them permission to walk in purpose and to do the thing that they're dreaming about, because we're a perfect example of when you believe in what you believe in, there are no limits. Do it. Right. And so I love that. You're in the right room, Jason.
I love it. Yeah, well, I think what you just said, Masako, really, dials that in, because a lot of people, well, let me ask you guys, how many times does it take for a person to try something new before they don't even try again? It's actually less than one time. So what that means is when people are looking at trying something new, they actually talk themselves out of trying something mentally before they even go and do it. So, that's one of the things I think is a good learning opportunity here, especially, Asif, to your point, military veterans looking at AI and using it for project management, just start. It's okay to make mistakes. Contrary to maybe some of the other world systems and culturally what they say, like, we learn by doing. And I would argue some of the best AI systems too, they learn by doing, through reinforcement learning. So we need to just, not be afraid to get out there and test what works and what doesn't work. And that happens through iteration, not being afraid to fail forward. So just to add color, Masako, to what you're saying.
Thank you. I agree with you, Jason. I always say, we're speaking to the kids in the room, and if you get it, it's like, no, we're all kids. Like, we have to be able to play and discover and have a curiosity to say, okay, let's see what we're gonna do.
Yeah, so true. I mean, you get excited when you first learn how to drive, right? That's how I felt about AI in most of the cases. I was just like, why is this not working the way I need it to work? Why is the expectation that I had is not meeting, right? So it's like really learning how to drive, but for a longer time, right? You never can get it perfect, and there's not enough of these that you can drive and be satisfied with. These days, of course, with ChatGPT, there's way too many options, but as Jason would say, back in 2016, 2017, you knew how amazing machine learning and AI was. It worked if you gave it some time, and you have to give it lots of time. These days, you can make it work a lot faster, but how do you keep it going continuously, persistently? That's a whole nother life cycle discussion, right? And Jason shines a light on it all the time. These days, it's easy to get started, but how do you continue is a far bigger challenge than getting started. So really got to have that, your mindset right to continuously engage with this topic. Now, military veterans, right, who got trained actually to stay in that bush for 3 days straight, right? Who got trained to say persistency and consistency is what pays off. You're being alive or dead, right? So military veterans, for obvious reasons, they want to take up on leadership roles. They want to drive teams, and they want to drive the team's ability to say something like AI, we're going to adopt it, we're going to implement it, and we're going to continuously develop it, right? So it requires that mindset and the training. And of course, military veterans are well trained in that. And as a project manager, they do really, really well. And the reason we're having this conversation today is because we want the future project managers or future mil vets. They're going to come outside the military, and they're going to look for jobs, and they're going to find jobs in this military and the project management space. So as we are, moving forward with this project management discussion, Jason, shine some lights on that, because I think AI is most fascinating use case, in my opinion, when it comes to identifying what are some of the good ways to use the AI,
Yeah, I mean, I always recommend people starting with what did they have right in front of them. And right now, ChatGPT is probably one of the best tools to start with, Asif. So like that's one of the things I say is, and even now with them just launching ChatGPT 5, they have ChatGPT 5 or GPT 5 right on the free plan. So everyone can access it. But I think one of the best ways is to, especially military veterans, is to think about how can I take that structure, which is a really good thing, from their background and going through the military process. Before we started the recording, I was mentioning I have a lot of family members, in the military. When I was looking at going into medicine, I was between Air Force and Navy going to do the officer program. I'm very familiar with just the military world. I have very close family members, in the military as well. My brother is, Army National Guard. So he's getting going to go on a deployment here soon. So very kind of, close to what they're kind of learning. But ChatGPT is a great starting point to, just maybe start with, okay, if I'm going to go into project management or I'm going to go into this role, just ask it basic questions on how can I prepare, for this particular role. That's kind of, discovery, information gathering. These AI tools are a really good starting point for that too. But also, getting into resume creation, interview preparation. There's been times too, personally, before I got into more of the work that I was doing, I would actually do the voice side of things in ChatGPT and ask it to role play. Hey, I'm going to be interviewing, for this role. Can you help just guide me, role play with me? You're this person hiring me. This is my role that I'm going to be interviewing for. And it will actually guide you, through that conversation. So that's another really, kind of low-hanging fruit way to use AI. And then one of the other things that has been really, really cool that I've been testing out, even internally, managing my personal life, but also these other like AI projects, that I've done. There's this tool which is free. They have a free plan. It's called DART, DART.ai. It's actually an AI-powered project management tool. So you can use your voice, you can actually prompt it just like ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm going to be writing a book, or I'm going to be, applying to these many jobs for project management, or this is what I need to accomplish. That is an awesome tool that will actually take in your prompt and it will create all those different tasks. It will help manage those different tasks for you. So that's one recently that has been like an amazing tool for me. So, I think the combo between ChatGPT or Anthropic's Claude or Google Gemini, any kind of chat AI tool, there's opportunities to leverage that for a role prep, role playing, but also that DART AI. It's designed, to do that project management with AI integrations. Even Notion is another, good tool that has some AI added into it. But it's not like a AI native, project management tool where something like Dart is like that. So, off the top of my head, those are some of the top ways, that I've seen and personally, tried to use some of these AI tools, especially for maybe someone in the project management space, kind of getting into that or transitioning, into that.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Like project management is just outright one of the best things that organizations can have, right? I would never want to be in an organization that doesn't have a project manager and probably doesn't even do project management in a process.
That's right.
Done.
I was going to say that what gets measured gets managed, and then you can understand how do we do this better. So thank you, Masako.
Yeah, thanks, Jason.
Masako and Lucky, do you guys think or use already anything that's on your project management that you say like, wow, because of AI, I actually enjoy project management? Because after a while, I think it gets like, oh my goodness, here comes another project. Here comes another 6 months of my life. I
think the key when we utilize these platforms, like with the GPTs for planning, program management, project management, the whole key, it's easy to get started, but do you have that follow through?
Yeah.
So if you're actually going through the due diligence to have the GPT write the program out for you, it is up to you to do your due diligence to stay on task.
Yeah.
To confirm that you're on schedule. Because yeah, you could have the plan all you want, but if you don't work the plan, then what is it? It's one more failed project because you didn't do your due diligence behind it. And I just think with regard to all of the things that each of us have to do in our daily lives, we have to be intentional about what we really want to see through till the end, because we don't need one more thing to be disappointed that we didn't follow through it. So whatever it is that is purposeful for our life, then we need to be intentional about the time that we put into that. And so the GPTs, they assist us in leveraging that time, leveraging our knowledge by the prompts, and then utilizing that time space to really do our due diligence to get our projects up and off the ground.
That's right.
Lucky.
Well, yeah, I've done a lot of project management, but mine's always been technical. I'm a geek, much like you, Jason. And you do things. You're successful because you're driven. I've never really been successful because my project management skills are stellar. I'm not successful for that reason. I'm successful because I'm hard-headed and I love to fail.
So what you're saying is you have grit. You're successful because of your grit.
Yeah, I don't, but I can appreciate a good project manager. I've worked with good project managers, and they make my life easier as an engineer because I can focus on what I need to focus in the noise. Because most people can't, just like you, Jason, you can have multiple hats and you can go in between. I can do that somewhat, but I have to have like a channel flip. It's like, okay, I need to take off this hat, my management hat. Now I got to put on my engineer hat. Oh, I got to take off my engineer hat and I got to put on my networking hat. And it's sometimes for me, the project management stuff is just far reaching because I know what needs to get done, but like I said, I appreciate a good project manager.
Well, yeah. I think, Lucky, though, what you're illustrating there is right on, is start with the end in mind. Because a lot of people, in my experience, I've worked with amazing project managers and really horrible ones. And the thing that actually makes the project managers that are really good stand out is they keep that core mission and that outcome, the goal at the forefront of everything that they do, because a project management system and even the tools that you integrate has to enable accomplishing that goal. If it's hindering you, that's when you need to take a step back and be like, whoa, this is not working. We need to figure this out. And that even with AI tools, just like ChatGPT and some of the other ones we mentioned, Dart, Masako, going back to what you were saying too, like start with the end in mind. And then also almost think of it like, okay, this AI tool is, I'm talking to a person. Like if I'm talking to them, this is what I need to be done. Think about an AI tool as, you're kind of just talking with this AI as another person. I need to hire them, or, hey, you tell me, like, how can I do this work better? And I found that actually helps create the prompt. It's not this cookie cutter kind of copy and paste with some of these prompts that we see so much today. It's think of AI as another person that you're just trying to have a conversation with. What's your goal? What's the responsibilities? What's the outcome that I want? And then you could add in, their information. Oh, this is the project I'm working on. It can kind of help you. But if you just do that little basic workflow, you would be amazed, at the results I think that you can accomplish from that.